You know how many combos we can fit in this bad boy? Hello and welcome back, and we are back with another donation deck list courtesy of Art Vandalay PhD with a shout out to Nosman for collaboration on this, and we are taking another dive into the Storm Doomsday hybrid deck that keeps changing its name and composition as cards are banned and introduced into the format. So this isn't quite DDFT. This is what we are calling Eonsday. So this is a hybrid combo deck looking to mash together Doomsday and Storm into the same deck and just be 100% combo all of the time. So what makes this a little bit different than some of the previous versions is we are relying on Echo of Eons as a way to fuel our storm count, keep our hand going, and give us another shot at a combo if our first attempt gets countered or discarded. So, with this being a hybrid deck, it's not truly all in on one combo or the other. So, you see kind of a mishmash of the Storm cards and the Doomsday cards all together, but they do synergize quite nicely with each other. Since this isn't a true all-in Doomsday deck, you're not seeing all of the cantrips and disruption that you would normally see out of a Doomsday deck, and because it's not all in on a Storm deck, you're not seeing the definitive tutors that you would see, like Wishclaw Talisman, Infernal Tutor, Beseech the Mirror, that you would see out of a true Storm deck. So being able to attack on two different angles and having a mishmash of cards that work with both is essentially what this deck is trying to do. And we have a couple of spicy additions to this deck at the request of Art to see how they play, with those specifically being Winter Night Stories and Quantum Riddler as additional ways to churn through your deck, get some extra card draw in, and as ways to actually power through your Doomsday pile a little bit quicker. With Quantum Riddler, when we go for our Doomsday piles, we're probably going to be empty handed or only have one card in our hand when we go off, anyways. So when we're trying to draw through our Doomsday pile, if we have Quantum Riddler out, it doubles the speed to be able to not need as many cantrips and get through the pile quicker than you normally would. It also has a nice synergy with Echo of Eons, where when we're drawing our 7 off of Echo, our hand is empty, so we actually get to draw 8 cards, whereas our opponent only draws 7, and hopefully that gives us a little bit of extra gas to keep going and be able to close the game out. It also synergizes nicely with Winter Night Stories, which has the Harmonize ability, which is essentially a take on Flashback, where you tap a creature to pay for the generic mana in the Harmonize cost. And Quantum Riddler, since it has 4 power, it will pay for the 4 of the Harmonize cost, so you get to replay it again for a single mana. Also, to help us speed through our Doomsday piles, we do have a spicy one of Spoils of the Vault to be able to just get through our Doomsday pile with one card. And it also is nice that Spoils of the Vault exiles the cards you're revealing. So, as long as you don't have any other cards in your graveyard, an opponent flashing in an Endurance or something to try to screw up your Thassa's Oracle trigger isn't going to end the game because there's going to be no other cards in your graveyard when Thassa's Oracle hits the battlefield. So nice little workaround Endurance right there. We also have some interesting cards for the Doomsday pile in the form of Chromatic Stars and Conjurer's Baubles to kind of store up some onboard draws to be able to jumpstart or move through our Doomsday pile without having to necessarily pay life to a street race, sacrifice a land to Edge of Autumn, stuff like that. To help protect what we are doing here, we have a full playset of defense grids in the main to mess with our opponent's counter magic, because all of our discard is over in the sideboard. If we don't think the Doomsday plan is going to win, we do have the Storm backup plan, and as such, we have a full playset of Burning Wishes to be able to access Tendrils of Agony or Empty the Warrens in the sideboard as our alternative finishers for the Storm game plan. To power all of this out, we do have a very greedy mana base with only 10 lands, but we have a ton of fast mana with Chrome Moxes, Lion's Eye Diamonds, Lotus Petals, and Mox Opals. So as I said, this deck is 100% combo 100% of the time. we don't really have a backup plan. It's just which combo are we going to use to be able to win the game. In the sideboard, it's mostly a wish board. All but 4 cards in our sideboard we are able to get access to in game 1 with Burning Wish, including, as I mentioned, our Storm Finishers and Tendrils of Agony and Empty the Warrens. We also have some removal in the form of Boomerang Basics and Bone Shards, whether it's creatures or just bouncing any permanent off of the battlefield. Pulverize to be able to take out artifacts. Thought Seizes for discard, an additional copy of Doomsday so that we can go get it off of a Burning Wish if we can't find one of our main deck copies. For things that we can't actually tour out of the sideboard, we have Graveyard Hate in the form of Surgical Extraction, and then we have 2 Kraza, which I believe the real card name for this is Spider Punk, but this is something we're going to be bringing in up against counterspell decks because it has the nice ability of spells and abilities can't be countered. So this is additional counter hate in addition to the defense grids in the main deck. So let's see if this cool new take on a hybrid Storm Doomsday deck can hang with the current meta and take it through a league and see how it does. If you like this video, do me a favor, drop a like and a comment below, and if you want to support the channel, please consider subscribing to know when my videos go live. With that all said, catch you all in the wrap-up. Alright, I'm ready. Let's fry my brain with this one. There are so many lines with this deck. Figuring out opening hands is going to be a Sisyphean task at this point, but try to do you good here. Alright, let's see if we can do this. Well, I mean, this is a turn 1 Echo with absolutely nothing else going on. The question is do we trust in our opponent not having counter magic? I think this is too risky to keep. We're going to mulligan it. Okay, this is a much safer bet. We're going to go ahead and keep this. We have a turn 1 Doomsday. I think we're going to go ahead and get rid of the Chromox, probably. Or we have 2 Dark Rituals. I think we're actually going to get rid of the Quantum Riddler here. This keeps our mana under us the best. I mean, don't get me wrong, this is still very dead to a Force of Will, but it at least is able to rebuild afterward if we have to. Flooded Stream from the opponent, cracks it. Into a Volcanic Island, into a Delver, so we're up against Izzet Delver right off of the bat. Counter Magic is very much a thing that can happen. Into a Mishra's Bobble. Client's lagging a little bit here. Let's see if they are going to bobble us to see what we're drawing. No. Okay, Defense Grid is actually pretty nice here. However, so we could try to... we lose our Lotus Petal to be able to Defense Grid this turn. But it also gets interaction out of their hand. I think that's worth it. And it at least kind of protects what we're doing here. So we're going to put a Dark Ritual under this. Cast a Lotus Petal. And try to get down this Defense Grid. And we got a Daze. Okay. So, I mean, it gets interaction out of their hand. And opponents bobbling themselves to try to figure out if they're flipping this Delver or not. They don't like what's on top. They want to keep it, but they don't want to flip it to the Delver, so they're going to draw it first. Now, this is a blind flip on the Delver, flipping a Lightning Bolt. Okay. Playing a different land, Flooded Strangling, another Volcanic Island, into a Ponder. Alright, opponent shuffled their library, so I think they're looking for counter magic. Alright, we hit another Defense Grid. I think we just go for it. We play the Lion's Eye Diamond. We Dark Ritual. We're going to go down to 8. We're at Virtual 2, but I think we just have to go for it. Cast Doomsday. Alright, Doomsday resolved. We know we're at a Virtual 2 here, because this is going to put us down to 8. They have 2 damage. So, the problem is figuring out what line to go with here to get through this, because my original thought was grab Spoils of the Vault. We might see if they tap out of this Lightning Bolt, in which case we actually can still Spoils of the Vault. So I think we're going to Spoils of the Vault, Thassa's Oracle, Cavern of Souls. I'm trying to think if there's anything else we can put in this pile that's actually going to help us in any way, shape, or form. I guess we grab an Echo just to be safe if this somehow goes wrong. And then probably just another land. So we got Cavern, Echo, Spoils, Thassa, Oracle, Underground Sea. So I think we're going to pick this as our pile here. And it's basically just going to be Oracle second to the bottom. No, well, I'm trying to think. We go to 8, we go to 6, we go to 3. So we want Thoracle second from the bottom. We'll put Underground Sea, Thassa's Oracle, Cavern, Echo, Spoils. And we'll hope that our opponent somehow manages to screw this up. See if they get greedy. I think the client's a little screwed up here. Ooh, I think there was another way I could have done this if I put Echo on top. And instead of that land, I put like a Lotus Petal or something. Ooh, I think I might have messed that up now that I'm thinking about it. But we'll see what our opponent does here. Volcanic Island for the opponent. We go to 5. I'd really like them to tap out thinking they have this. No, they're just holding up that lightning bolt. Alright. I mean, we gotta hope that they miss it, so... Actually, we might still have a way out of this. If I only go... Well, no, because it's gonna be in our hand and we can't dump it, so never mind. Oh, they just had a Force of Will anyways? Okay, yeah, we're dead. Okay, that was fine. The other line that I had thought of wouldn't have been able to beat a Force of Will anyway, so... Illusion of choice. That being said, what are we bringing in here? I think we're going to bring in the Bone Shards and probably bring in some Thoughtseizes. I think we are going to leave one Thoughtseize in the board just so we can wish for it. We will trim one Echo. I think we're going to trim one Chromatic Star, trim one Quantum Riddler. And normally I've been trimming Winter Night Stories. It feels like the worst card of the deck, but being as it is part of what Art wants to see here, I am going to keep it in the deck. I think we're going to trim one Street Wraith here because our life total matters quite a bit. So let's try something like that. Alright, what is this? This doesn't really do anything, and it's very tight on mana. I think we gotta ship this. This has no mana. Gotta ship this. Alright, what does this hand do? This hand also does absolutely nothing. I guess we're going to 4. Alright, I mean, this is in theory a turn 1 Echo. And we kind of just hope for the best our opponent doesn't have a counterspell. Or if they do, it's Daze. Opponent... Oh! Our opponent took so long to, do their thing that I completely forgot I was starting out. Okay, sorry. That completely threw me off how long our opponent was taking a mulligan there. It's fine. We're just planning to draw Thoughtseize is all. Alright. They played a Flooded Strand into a Volcanic Island, into a DRC, into a Mishra's Bauble. We will just yield through the turn. We totally did this on purpose, and we're just waiting to find a Thoughtseize. That's all. There also is something to be said about just, like, waiting so that we can try to amass a critical amount. I still should have played out the Polluted Delta. Been to Consign to Memory. Interesting. Crack the Bauble. Well, we drew an Echo, so we don't even need to gamble. We still could gamble here just to get a second Echo in the yard. Client is lagging like crazy right now. We need red. Play out a diamond. And we are going to Echo for the backup just to be safe. Or gamble for the backup Echo. This way, if they counter the first one, we have a second and we're 1 mana source away from being able to just wheel. And we can still pay for days. If they force a will this, we're 1 mana source away. Okay. Force a will pitching Murktide Regent. We are 1 mana source away from being able to Echo again and try over. And this is when I speak a Wasteland into existence to take out our bad lands. They're brainstorming, looking for one. Put 1 card on top, so they like something that they saw. A Mishra's Bauble. Okay. There's still... Okay, that turns on Delirium. I was about to say, there's still 1 card type away, but they're seeing what we're drawing, making their game plan off of that. And I did it. I spoke the Wasteland into existence. Well, we hit a Lion's Eye Diamond, so... And they appear to be F6. So, we're just going for it. Alright, what do we got here? Not a whole lot. Our mana's a little wonky here. We could attempt to Doomsday, but then we're probably dead to whatever's going on over there. Well, we can play out the Lotus Petal. We shut off their Dragon Rage Channeler, so... I'm just debating what we want to do. I think I'm going to go ahead and Chrome Mox, Bin Burning Wish. Throw that under there. We can gamble for something. Or we can try to wait until next turn, see if we can Doomsday and find a way through all of this. I think we're just going to pass the turn. Like, we could try to gamble for a Echo and just hope that we have the 25% chance of it going straight to the bin. And opponent's going to brainstorm. Okay. We do technically have an answer to this Dragon Rage Channeler, but I really don't want to at the moment. Kept something on top. Plays a Volcanic into another Dragon Rage Channeler. Into a Mishra's Bauble. Decided to bin 2 Wastelands gone. Okay. So they've decided Mana Denial is not the plan here. Another Mishra's Bauble. Alright, they get their 2 draws off of this. They got 3 card types in the yard. See what we're drawing. We draw a Cavern of Souls. So we are going to play this out. Name Wizard. And I'm trying to figure out if we can get to a point where we can theoretically go off. We have a Cycler in hand. In theory, if we have 1 more mana and they have no counter spells, well, I still need another black mana. I think we're going to pass a turn here. Bide our time. Worst case scenario, if they do find another Wasteland, we can always just cycle off this Edge of Autumn. A Ponder. Okay. Bin to land. This is the 4th card type to be able to turn on the Dragon Rage Channelers. Put 1 card back on top of their library with the 2nd Surveil, so they found something they liked. Did not shuffle. Plays a Brainstorm. Okay. Bin to Wasteland. Okay. Fetched out a Volcanic. Dragon Rage Channeler number 3. They're just going for the kill. Alright, this is our turn. We gotta hope we draw something good and they don't have counter magic. Burning Wish. We could Burning Wish for an Echo. Gamble for an LED. I think that's realistically our only way out here. So let's see if this resolves. If it doesn't resolve, then we just lose. And they have a Force of Negation. I'm 99% sure we're probably done here. We do have the Hail Mary cycle Edge of Autumn into a Lion's Eye Diamond and hope for the best, which is the point that we're at here. See if we hit a LED. We hit a Conjurer's Bauble. I mean, that's technically still 1 more draw. We're not going to put anything in our graveyard. If it's an LED, there's a shot. It is a Chrome Mox. All right. Little disappointing start here, but Tempo is a very, very hard matchup for the style of deck from what I've seen, especially when you're not overloaded on discard like Black Saga Storm is. But all right, on to the next one. I won the die roll. Unfortunately, this doesn't do anything. We got to ship this one. Okay, this isn't bad. We'll go ahead and keep this. I'm just debating what I want to get rid of here. I think we're going to bin the redundant Lotus Petal, because this is a turn 1 defense grid, and they appear to be F6. Since we have all of our colors under us, I think I'm going to go ahead and grab red here and slam this defense grid. We could try to cycle off this Street Wraith and see what we hit. We could have lucked into like an Echo of Eons or something, but I'm not going to mess with it here. Scrubland into a Cabal Therapy. I highly doubt they're going to name Street Wraith in the blind. I mean, this isn't the blind. They probably think we're Storm of some sort, and Street Wraith isn't going to be one they name. Nope, Beseech the Mirror. Yep, they think we're on Storm, which, I mean, is technically accurate. And we hit an Echo of Eons anyways, so if they're on Cabal Therapy, this is definitely going to be some kind of sacrifice deck. It might be White-Black Pox. I'm just debating if we want to cycle the Street Wraith off now. I mean, we might as well to see what we hit. See if there's anything we want to play before we Echo here. Because it's going to go back in our deck anyways. We drew a Quantum Riddler. I'm actually going to go ahead and warp this, because this is going to allow us to draw 8. We draw 2 off of that. We hit another land, so we can actually play the land. I don't think there's any point in playing the gamble here. So we're going to go ahead and crack LED, go for a wheel. We get to draw 8. And I believe... well, we need to filter mana somehow, but I was going to say, I believe this is a win. It's not quite, unless we gamble first to go grab an LED. We're going to crack this, go grab an Underground Sea. If we can hit an LED, we can win. But that also very much relies on us not losing any of this other stuff here. I think we're going to try to go for it and see what happens here. Worst case scenario, hopefully we keep the LED at least, and we can wheel again. We did keep the LED, we lost the spoils of the vault, but that shouldn't matter. Cast LED, cast Dark Ritual, cast Dark Ritual, play out Conjurer's Bauble, and then we want to play Doomsday. And this is going to be a spoils line here. So we grab the spoils of the vault, Thassa's Oracle, and then nothing else matters. So we'll just grab a couple of Lotus Petals. Well, actually, we'll grab the Cyclers just to be safe. Edge of Autumn, Street Wraith, and Street Wraith. So this is our pile just to be safe. We put Thassa's Oracle on the bottom, Street Wraith, Edge of Autumn, Spoils of the Vault. We will not put anything back into our deck. We draw the Spoils of the Vault. We then go full control mode, cast Spoils of the Vault, crack LED for triple blue, name Thassa's Oracle, grab our Thassa's Oracle, play our Thassa's Oracle, and win. Okay, managed to get the Doomsday win. Alright, took down game 1 up against what I'm assuming is probably going to be like Orzhov Pox of some sort. So with that said, we want Boomerang Basics in. Trying to think of what else we would want here. I think we might bring the Bone Shards in and take out all of the defense grids for right now. From what we saw, they shouldn't have counter magic. I haven't seen any Esper sacrifice decks. So we're going to try something like this. If we go to a game 3, we will adjust accordingly. Alright, this isn't bad. We'll go ahead and keep this. It's a little slow, but I like what it can do here. And in theory, we're going to be able to draw 2 cards off of Quantum Riddler on turn 2. Marsh Flats into a Scrubland from the opponent, into a Thoughtseize. Okay, so they're going to get to see what we have here. The question is what do they take? We don't have any real key pieces here. And they took one of the Quantum Riddlers. Okay. And shipping the turn. We hit a Echo of Eons. That is interesting. So we will run out our artifacts because they're probably safer on the battlefield than they are in our hand at the moment. The question is do we want to Undercity Sewers now? Or do we want to play an untapped land, go fetch our other one? I think we're just going to play Polluted Delta and pass here. Yeah, we're just going to play Polluted Delta. We'll probably go grab our other Surveil land off of this. A Cabal Therapy. They're probably going to name Quantum Riddler, which I'm actually kind of okay with here. Yep, name Quantum Riddler. Both of our Riddlers are gone, but we have an Echo. Riddler is down. Into a Marsh Flats. Into another Scrubland. Ooh, Prismatic Ending. Okay, gonna restrict some of our mana. I mean, we're still just kind of looking for an LED. That's the whole game at the moment. So let's go grab our Raucous Theater. Get our Surveil on. Chromatic Star. I will actually keep that on top, as weird as that seems. Because we can play it and it's another redraw. We will play our Undercity Sewers. A Lotus Petal. I don't think we want the Lotus Petal right now. We will go ahead and play the Chromatic Star and pass the turn. Like, these fair decks are more of what we prey on here. Ooh. Clarion Conqueror. That's rough. Okay. I guess we want to redraw. We'll make some black mana. Because this is all going to go away anyways. Into another Lotus Petal. Okay. So I should have brought the whatchamacallit in here. The removal. That Clarion Conqueror probably has a good chance of just soloing us. But we will see. Okay, I did bring the Bone Shards in, so we do still actually have a out to it. I honestly forgot that I brought that in. A Marsh Blast from the opponent. Taking out my blue source, okay. Into an Ajani, so this is just Cat Pox sort of stuff? Boomerang Basics would have been nice, but we can't do anything with it at the moment, so we'll pass. We still need a blue source and a way to discard our Echo of Eons to be able to actually take advantage of this. Or we need Bone Shards and another mana source? Ocelot Pride, okay. I mean, we can't do anything. We'll pass the turn. That is a Street Wraith. That is a black source. It also is an emergency cycle if we need it. This is 3, 4, 6, 7 damage. Technically, we can still Street Wraith. A Thought Seize. Okay. We'll see what they want to take here. Honestly, the take is the Street Wraith. No, they took the Boomerang basics. Okay. And they are holding up a Bowmaster, so the Street Wraith is a little bit of a liability. It's basically Bone Shards or... Okay, well, we hit another... whatchamacallit here. We'll see if they have the Bowmasters to finish us off. No, and we did hit what we need anyway, so okay, on to the next one. I was not expecting Clarion Conqueror, to be completely honest. But it very much looks like this is Catpox, so... I don't actually think we're going to change anything here. I think we honestly kind of want to just keep it the same and run it back and just mulligan for a fast hand. Alright, so technically speaking, this is a turn 1 Doomsday. This also could just be a pretty big empty the Warrens right off of the bat. That Raucous Theater being tapped is a little awkward, so... What do we do here? We can Raucous Theater, Lotus Petal, Lion's Eye Diamond, Mox Opal. Mox Opal, bounce it back to our hand with Boomerang basics to replay the Mox Opal and see what we draw, and then figure out our plan from there. Alright, so we are not going for any kind of Echo lines here. Our opponent went to 6 and found a Ley Line of the Void. So we'll start out with the Raucous Theater so we can see what we're drawing off of our Boomerang basics. I don't think we are in a world where we are going to go ahead and need a land here. So, Lotus Petal, Lion's Eye Diamond, Mox Opal. Tap Mox Opal for blue. Bounce it back to hand with Boomerang basics. We hit a Bone Shards. Play Boomerang basics. Or play Mox Opal. Tap Mox Opal for red. Play another Mox Opal, keep the new Mox Opal, tap this Mox Opal for red, cast Burning Wish, hold priority, pop for red, use Burning Wish's ability, go grab Empty the Warrens, cast Empty the Warrens, and hope an empty for 8 is enough. And props to our opponent for being very friendly as well. If you catch this, Cable Wire, hopefully you enjoy this. So we've got 16 goblins, and we gotta hope that's enough to get through whatever the hell they're doing over there. Marsh Flats into a Scrubland from the opponent, into a Guide of Souls. Okay. We hit a Street Wraith. I mean, at this point, it's turned sideways and hope that we can overwhelm whatever life gain they happen to have here. Because this is going to be a hit for 15, put them to 4. And then we still have 15 goblins left. Into an Ocelot Pride. Okay, so that's going to gain them some life. And a Wasteland, that's fine. I think this is still able to go wide enough that it doesn't matter. They're going to gain another life off of the Ocelot Pride. So they're going to go to 6. And opponent gave us the GGs. We're going to be nice, give it to them back. See if they make us swing out here. But my math shows this should be more than enough. Because they can block 3 of these, go up to 7. There's still going to be more than 10 of them getting through. And we managed to take him down by 5 extra. Good game, Cabal Wire. Hopefully you catch this. But on the board, on to the next round. Oh boy, we are up against Lightwalker. I want to say, historically, they have played Mono Red Stompy, I believe? Alright, so let's see what we got here. This hand doesn't really do anything. Like I said, I think historically they play red decks. I want to say Moon Stompy is in mine, and this hand doesn't really do anything against that, so we're going to ship this. This is okay. This is a turn 2 Doomsday? I think we'll go ahead and keep this. Bin the Chromox for now. We will play Raucous Theater. A Cavern of Souls. We will put that into the graveyard. And run out a Lotus Petal. Pass the turn. Let's see what Lightwalker is on today. Unfortunately, our other Surveil land is in our hands, so that's a little awkward, but... Because it would have been nice to be able to fetch it out with Polluted Delta. I am sure this combination of cards is confusing our opponent. Okay, Urza Saga doesn't really tell... Oh, they are on Painter. Okay. So I was right in terms of a red deck. There is an Echo... Do I want to wait another turn before I go off? The awkward part is the fact that in order to do this, I've got to give up my Lotus Petal, and we don't really have the colors of mana that we need. I think we're going to go ahead and Undercity Sewers first. And we can absolutely bin this Echo. We actually could Echo right now if we want to. And we technically still could Burning Wish for something. But the question is do we think Echo is going to be better? I think we are. They have a game plan. Let's try to screw that game plan up. Now, since they're on Painter, they shouldn't... Ooh, they do have Simian Spirit Guide into a Blast. Oh, no, they're just getting mana. Okay. Oh, this is interesting. We can Doomsday here and then set up to be able to win next turn. Okay. I like that quite a bit. We will Dark Ritual into Doomsday, and we can make a... We have Spoils of the Vault already, so we want Thassa's Oracle, Lion's Eye Diamond, and then we will do Street Wraith, Edge of Autumn, just to be safe here. So how do we make our pile with this? Oracle on the bottom, draw Lion's Eye Diamond, or we could draw... No, we need to draw Lion's Eye Diamond. Okay. We will call this good. We will put Oracle on the bottom, Street Wraith, Edge of Autumn, Lion's Eye Diamond. And we just pass the turn from there, set up to be able to Spoils of the Vault, crack LED, and go from there. Or we can try to take a turn off and... whatchamacallit instead. Defense grid first. But we'll see what they do here. Mox Opal. Okay. Plays another Urza Saga. Okay. Alright, I mean, basically, we just go for it. Play LED. If they happen to have Simian Spirit Guide into Red Blast, I guess we just lose. But I don't really think we have much of a choice here. So, Spoils of the Vault, hold priority. Pop for blue. It's got to be Simian Spirit Guide Red Blast, because they don't have any colored mana. 3 mana. What could they have at instant speed here? Okay, they're gonna mill us 3? Okay, I don't think that changed anything here, because our top 2 cards were different colors. Name Thassa's Oracle. Grab the Thoracle and play it? I think they were banking on us having multiple cards of the same color on the top of our deck there, but because we put Edge of Autumn into Street Wraith, it didn't repeat. If it did, we would have died. Okay, taking down game 1 against Painter. So, against them, we want Boomerang Basics in. We probably want Thoughtseizes in. They do have counter magic in the form of Red Elemental Blast, but I think that's too corner case of a scenario to have defense grids in. There's also something to be said about maybe doing a 1-in-1 split, bringing in the Surgicals to shut down their Welder stuff. So I actually think we might do that. Bring the Surgicals in to try to shut down Welder shenanigans. And that way we can still wish for Thoughtseize and Boomerang Basics. I could also throw an Echo in the board, bring in the second Thoughtseize. Or I could bring in a Kraza, but I don't think that's very good. I think we'll bring in the second Thoughtseize, put 1 Echo in the board so that we can wish for it if we need it. That is something I found while testing, is it's a little awkward all 4 of your Echoes are in your main deck, so you can't wish for one if you need it. But let's try this, and then we will adjust if we go to a game 3. Alright, well, we got a turn 1 Echo to try to screw up our opponent's game plan here, assuming they don't have a whatchamacallit here, so I think we're going to go ahead and keep this. I mean, it's basically just restarting the game. They very well could have Red Elemental Blast, so we might take a turn off. Yeah, I think we're going to take a turn off here. We will play Mox Opal, play the Conjurer's Bauble, and then we will play Lion's Eye Diamond. And then we are going to go ahead and just gamble here for the sake of getting the Echo into the graveyard, possibly. And the Echo did go straight to the graveyard, so if we just draw a mana source, there is a chance that we can just kind of go off. We also have the option to try to Doomsday, but we have no mana floating afterward, so it would be an Echo past the turn line. Okay, there's a Grindstone. Do they have the Painter to go along with it? No. But they are still just holding up Mountain. So I very much think that they have a Red Elemental Blast here. So, I mean, we're going to play Badlands, and we're going to try to Echo just naturally here, so that we don't have to dump our whole hand. Okay, they did have the Red Elemental Blast. That was kind of to be expected. Or are they just floating mana like they did last time and letting the Echo resolve? No. Okay. So we basically need to dodge land into Painter's Servant, and we can Burning Wish Echo next turn if they don't just kill us. An opponent seems to be passing the turn. We will see what we draw before we pop this Conjurer's Bauble. We hit another Lion's Eye Diamond. I like that. So, does this actually let us do anything here? So, we can try to go for a Doomsday, but the chances of that working out for us are kind of slim here. It might not actually be the worst idea ever, and then just maybe take a turn or two off. They don't have the combo. I think we are going to go for a slower Doomsday line here. So we're going to go ahead and cast a Burning Wish, crack one of these for black, go grab our sideboard Doomsday, cast Doomsday, and I think we're going to do this the slow way here. We want Thassa's Oracle, Cavern of Souls, Edge of Autumn, Street Wraith, Street Wraith. And what we're going to do is we're going to draw Cavern of Souls, crack the Bauble to get Edge of Autumn, cycle, Thassa's Oracle. Yeah, that's what we're going to do here. So we're going to put Thoracle on the bottom, Street Wraith, Edge of Autumn, Cavern of Souls. Alright, they're going to mill. Ooh, they could actually double mill us here. We draw one. We go to 2, they mill us again, and we're dead. So we have to let this go. Oh, we should have stacked that a little bit differently. They could try to do it again. But no, they're not, actually. Or no, they are? Ooh. Okay, so we still have a shot here. So what we have to do is we have to Conjurer's Bauble, put Thassa's Oracle back on top, and hope they don't have a Red Blast. And we will... Ooh, actually, I don't think this works. Because we're going to do this, go to our draw step, we actually draw it, and then, yeah, we lose. Okay, we should have stacked our pile a little bit differently there. They did get us with the double grindstone. I wasn't thinking about the 2 Street Race being a problem there. That being said, I think we just run it back. Alright, let's not punt that away again. This doesn't really do anything. I think we gotta ship this one. Again, this doesn't really do anything. We gotta ship it. Like I said, the opening hands with this deck are a little wonky. And then, talking with Art also, there was concern about only having 10 lands in the deck. Alright, ship this again. I guess we keep this. And we gotta hope that the gamble gods let us keep the Lion's Eye Diamond. The math is in our favor, but we'll see. I think we're gonna go ahead and put the Burning Wish back. Alright, we will keep this. We will put the Burning Wish back. Oh, we're down to 5, right? I mean, I think we're all in on this working, so we're just gonna throw the Doomsday back as well. And then, Smile Upon Us, Magic Gods. We have a 75% chance for this to work. Grab a Lion's Eye Diamond? Okay, we kept the Lion's Eye Diamond. And please do not have Simian Spirit Guide Red Blast, opponent. Oh my god. Okay, no, they're just floating mana. Okay, I like that. We can play Mox Opal. I'm trying to see if there's a way that we could try to front and backside this. I think I'm 1 mana short, but they're floating that mana just in case they hit a Red Blast. Question is do I want to risk it for another Echo? Because if we discard our hand and nothing happens, we are in real rough shape here. We could Edge of Autumn, try to see if we can hit something relevant first. And if we're going for the Echo anyways, I mean, it's kind of so be it. So I think we're going to. We hit a Lotus Petal. Does that give us enough mana to be able to go off? I think we're 1 mana short from trying to be able to frontside this. So I think we're going to let that mana burn off and try to go for it next turn instead. That way we can frontside and backside it if this goes wrong. Hopefully their hand is just a bunch of lands and nothing relevant. Ancient Tomb from the opponent into a Grindstone and passes the turn. Okay. So they would need another Simian Spirit Guide and a Red Blast. They've only got 3 Simian Spirit Guides left. We're going to play Underground Sea, cast Dark Ritual, blue, whatever. Front side and Echo. If they counter it, we can try again on the backside. And we just kind of sort of get there. I'm trying to think of what we can do here. We could Conjurer's Bauble, but I think what we're going to do is just play out the other Lion's Eye Diamond. We already played our land for turn and pass. See what we draw, and then we theoretically can go off with Doomsday next turn. I could have Echoed again, but we're in a position where we can Echo without dumping our hand next turn. In order to combo us here, they would need Ancient Tomb plus Simian Spirit Guide plus Painter's Servant, which, I mean, it's a possibility. Like, don't get me wrong. But the fact that they're not just slamming it right now makes me think they don't have it, and they're having to think about what they're doing. I also did not realize I am 4 minutes lower on clock than they are, but I do not think this match is going to come down to time at all. Alright, what if fails from the opponent into a Painter's Servant? So everything is going to be blue now. Do they have double Simian Spirit Guide to be able to activate this? No. But they do have the ability to Red Blast literally anything now. And we hit a gamble. That's interesting. Well, we'll play Blue to Delta. I think we're going to kind of just run out everything we have here. Run out 2 Dark Rituals. Play a Chromatic Star. Play a Chromatic Star. Play a Bauble. And I think we're going to attempt to wheel again here. Because if this fails, we can go get red mana, do it again. Because if they have the blue or the red blast, they can fire it off on this one. We can go gamble to get another one, but they don't. We can Doomsday. Do we have the mana to be able to Thoughtseize first is the question. I don't think we do, and we have to do something this turn. I was trying to see. We could draw another card, see what we hit. We will draw here because we have another redraw to start our chain if we need to. We hit another Mox Opal. That gives us enough mana to start this chain, right? Because we can Mox Opal, Mox Opal. We need triple black to do this, but we can filter some into a Chromatic Star. So let's see, we've got 1, 2, 3 for red, turn it into black. We still have 1 black open. This should be enough mana. Keep the new one. Let's go ahead and start with a Thoughtseize. They have Red Blast, Enlightened Tutor, Lightning Bolt. This should be game as long as we take the Red Blast. Because Lightning Bolt isn't going to kill us. Okay. Take the Red Blast. Keep the new Mox Opal. Crack for black. Cast Chromox. Put Gamble under it. Go find a black source. We want Underground Sea here. We can make mana, filter it into black and draw a card. Into another Lion's Eye Diamond, which we will play out just to make sure we have enough mana here. And then we will black for Doomsday. And we will grab Thassa's Oracle. Okay, so what? This is going to put us down to 8. Okay, yeah, this is fine. We will grab Thassa's Oracle, Spoils of the Vault, and then 3 cards that honestly don't matter. I mean, we can grab Edge of Autumn for the hell of it. Grab an Echo just in case this somehow goes wrong. And grab a Lotus Petal. Because what we're going to do here is we are going to cast Spoils of the Vault, crack LED. Okay, yeah, this is fine. So basically the way we want to build this pile is just Thoracle on the bottom. We want Thoracle on the bottom. The middle pieces don't actually matter. And Spoils of the Vault on top. What we will do is, because they can put us to 3, we will go ahead and crack this for black, crack this for blue, and then crack this for blue just to be safe. Chromatic Star, filter some of the blue into more blue. This will draw us the Spoils of the Vault. Cast Spoils of the Vault. This will put us to 4. Choose Thassa's Oracle. Puts us to 5. Play Thassa's Oracle. Deck is empty. They can bolt in response, but Devotion doesn't matter. And we managed to somehow piece that one together. Okay, another win on the board. Good game, Lightwalker, if you catch this. On to the next one. Got some pleasantries from the opponent here. Hello, Alberto SD. Good luck to you as well. Won the die roll. We're going to keep. This is a turn 1 Echo? I think we're going to keep and try this. I will say, like, Doomsday always melts my brain. But when you start throwing in Storm on top of it, and I know I've played DDFT before, but like for whatever reason, this version of the deck is seriously melting my brain. Apparently our opponent is streaming at the moment, so I just said hello to the stream. Alright, well hopefully we both put on a good show then. We are going to play this out on Wizard. Hopefully our opponent is not a dirty, dirty blue player. Alright, that resolved. We will run out Conjurer's Bauble. And there's a part of me that wants to wait until we can try to get Defense Grid down next turn. So I think we're going to, and just hope that our opponent is not on some kind of combo deck that can turn 1 combo us. Okay, Underground Sea. So I think it was a good thing that we waited. They were probably waiting for us to go all in on this Defense Grid. Well, we have another one, so we can always just try to run this back again next turn. Opponent is going to Brainstorm. Okay. Looking for an answer. See if they found an answer. They did. Pitching a Murktide region, so it looks like either Dimir Tempo or Dimir Control. With that being said then, I think we're going to wait again and try to slam a Defense Grid again next turn. Misty Rainforest cracks it. Okay. Into a Watery Grave. Is this Death Shadow? Double black. Okay, I guess I'm okay with him to Turok. If we draw a Mana Source, we actually can double Echo. Alright, do we think they have more counter magic becomes the question. I think we're going to crack our Bauble first. I should have forced the mana off the Mox Opal. We hit a Doomsday. Well, I guess we're going for it. Do you have another counterspell, opponent? No. Okay. What does this hand do? Honestly, not a ton. But it is another Defense Grid. We're going to go ahead, crack this Polluted Delta. I think we're going to go ahead and grab an Underground Sea off of this one. We can go get a Surveil Land off of the other one. And try slamming a Defense Grid and see if our opponent has anything to say about that. We did just refuel them, but we will see. We do have an emergency redraw. Okay. A Force of Will pitching a Murktide region again. Okay. Thought Seas. I'm assuming they're going to take the Street Wraith here. Yep, took the Street Wraith. Into a Ponder. Okay. Did not shuffle. Found a Wasteland. I guess they're going to go after the Cavernous Souls. No, they went after our colored mana. Okay. That's fine. I don't actually super care about that. So we can play this. We can warp in a Quantum Riddler. Draw 2. We drew an Echo and a Doomsday. We could attempt a Doomsday right here if we want to. I actually think we're going to. We are going to grab a Underground Sea to do so. Play out a Mox Opal. Keep the new Mox Opal. This is a little risky, but we have a redraw with the Bauble. Tap for black. 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 Try to Doomsday. See if they got another counter for this. No. Okay, so what can we do here? We have another draw with this Conjurer's Bauble. So we have to think about what we want to do here. We definitely need Thassa's Oracle. Is there a world where we could go for it now? If we crack this, we draw 2. So we could draw Street Wraith plus Lion's Eye Diamond. They did counter this, so I think they would have. So we crack this, draw Wraith, Lion's Eye Diamond, play Lion's Eye Diamond, crack Lion's Eye Diamond for 3 blue, with Street Wraith on the stack. Grab an Edge of Autumn, and probably just another Lotus Petal? So how do we do this pile? We put Thassa's Oracle on the bottom, Lotus Petal, Edge of Autumn, Lion's Eye Diamond, Street Wraith. Cycle Street Wraith, or crack this, grab Street Wraith and Lion's Eye Diamond. That leaves 3 cards in deck, so we need to put Thassa's Oracle second to the bottom, actually. Okay. So because each time we draw, we're going to draw 2. So we need Thassa's Oracle second to the bottom. So let's put Lotus Petal, Thassa's Oracle, Edge of Autumn, Lion's Eye Diamond, Street Wraith. Crack this. Don't put Doomsday back in the deck. We grab Lion's Eye Diamond and Street Wraith, cast Lion's Eye Diamond, cycle Street Wraith, cracking Lion's Eye Diamond for 3 blue. We get Oracle Edge of Autumn, play Thassa's Oracle, Devotion is 4. So as long as this resolves, we win. Okay, opponent scooped it up. We managed to piece that one together. Like I said, man, these Doomsday lines with like Quantum Riddler and all that kind of shit really fuck with my head. So against what our opponent's doing, I think we are finally bringing in Kraza. I'm not super sure what our opponent's doing here, so I think I'm going to bring in 2 Thoughtseizes, put 1 Echo of Eons back, put a Chromatic Star, probably put both of the stars back in the sideboard here, maybe trim 1 Mox Opal, and that's just a matter of, do I want to bring in the last Thoughtseize, do I want to bring in anything else? Because pretty much everything other than Surgical Extraction we can wish for if we need to. So I think we're going to try this and we'll go from there. Alright, so I mean we have a turn 1 Thoughtseize Echo line. I think we're going to go ahead and keep this. Worst case scenario is they Thoughtseize and Counterspell. Opponent mulligan to 6, no ley lines. Misty Rainforest and cracks it. Into an Underground Sea. Alright, well, this could be the worst case scenario here. Took the Lion's Eye Diamond, okay. LED off the top? No, Defense Grid. I mean, I guess we just kind of go for it and hope for the best here. They appear to be F6. Opponent is F6. Pray to the magic gods. Okay, we kept the Lion's Eye Diamond. And I guess we're going for a spin. Okay, this is interesting to say the least. And then I think we're going to hold on to the Thoughtseize to try to go off all in one turn if we can. We will probably go fetch a Surveil land here. Hope that we see mana, and then we can just do everything in one turn. Or our opponent is going to Thoughtseize us again. Took the Doomsday, okay. So that makes me think they don't have counter magic if they took the Doomsday. We will fetch and go grab our Undercity Sewers. A Cavern of Souls. I think we're going to throw that in the bin for now. We don't particularly want it. We need some kind of enabler spell here. We draw a Gamble. Okay, well, I guess we go for a spin again? Thoughtseize the opponent. Force of Negation, pitching a Daze. Okay. Well, with that being said, I guess we still just go for it and hope that they don't have additional removal or counter spells. Grab another Echo and go for another spin. We can pay for a Daze. Don't have another Force. Okay, no Force. We will play Badlands, bank a Conjurer's Bauble, and then we will pass the turn. Wheels are so risky when you don't have card draw hate. Opponent is cracking their Misty. Probably going to go grab a Undercity Sewers if I had to take a guess. No, a Underground Sea. Okay. Into a Brainstorm. Misty Rainforest from the opponent. Cracks it. Into a Watery Grave. Is this Death Shadow, or are they doing this purely to maximize the number of blue-black lands they have? Brainstorm from the opponent. The fact that they fetched before the Brainstorm was a little interesting, but they did have a Brainstorm the previous turn. Him to Torok. Alright. We lost Thoughtseize and Burning Wish. That's a little unfortunate. And we hit an Echo of Eons. What do we want to do here? I actually think we're finally going to Winter Night Story here. The Echo of Eons is an easy chuck. Ooh, a Daze. Okay. Alright. We will pass the turn then. We still do have an emergency redraw if we need to. Scalding Tarn, so they still have a bunch of lands. Into a Brainstorm. Okay. Instantly shuffling that Brainstorm. Into another Watery Grave. They are very low on life. Like, we could do a small Tendrils line to kill them if we get the chance. And they are just holding up mana here. We do have a Dark Ritual. So we could Dark Ritual Doomsday. So I think that's what we're going to try to do here. I probably should have done the other way around, but we're going to just try to get a Doomsday in here. Force of Negation, pitching Baleful Strix. Okay. We will pass the turn then. And this looks like a Bowmaster. It is a Bowmaster. Okay. We could have cracked our Baba there to save us 1 point of life, but I don't think that's super relevant. Okay. That wasn't the land that we cared about, so... Okay, it is Dimir Death Shadow. Got it. Okay. They are getting in. We will take it for now. We might be in Hail Mary Echo of Eons territory here. We hit a Dark Ritual. Well, we are going to go ahead. I don't think it really matters what we put back in our deck at this point, because we're kind of just Hail Marying here, and we want to increase our chances of this actually working. Let's put Thoughtseize back in the deck for now. I don't think it super matters. We just want the draw. We hit a Quantum Riddler. Well, we are hoping they do not have counter magic and we don't wheel them into it with this, is really all it comes down to. They are brainstorming, trying to find an answer. And we have a 75% chance of success here. So we hope the magic gods are in our favor. So far they are. We are going to take a ton of damage from this, but we don't really have a choice otherwise. We are at a point where Okay, so there is a world where all of this works. Kind of. We will yield to all. I'm trying to think, is there actually a way for us to get this done? So we can run out Chrome Mox with nothing under it. This is... Alright, run out Lion's Eye Diamond. I mean, this also banks on our opponent having 0 interaction. And they have a Daze, and we are dead on board. Okay. Just some unfortunate wheels there. But we do have confirmation our opponent is on Dimir Death Shadow. That being said, I don't really know if there's anything we want to change. I hate to say it, but I think we're going to get rid of Winter Night Stories, bring in a Boomerang Basics, bring in a Bone Shards, get rid of 1 Quantum Riddler, and we will try that. Alright, let's see here. This doesn't actually do anything. I think we gotta ship this one, unfortunately. This theoretically is a turn 1. We're gonna keep this. I think we're going to put Quantum Riddler to the bottom for right now. And I think we're going to try to play it just a smidgen safe here. I would love to be able to find another mana source before trying to go off here so I can Thoughtseize first. Our opponent definitely has a counterspell since they're pausing on that, so we are going to ship the turn here. Plan on grabbing a Surveil land, hopefully see another mana source so that we can Thoughtseize, gamble, wheel. Water Grave from the opponent into a Ponder. Okay, so there's no Thoughtseize from the opponent right now. And opponent did not shuffle, so they found something they like. We're going to go ahead and fetch, go grab a Raucous Theater so we get a Surveil, set up our next draw. Go grab the Raucous Theater because we need red. Hopefully we see a land or Lotus Petal or some sort of mana source. A Street Wraith is not what we're looking for. We will put that in the graveyard. That's a defense grid. Well, we will run out the Conjurer's Bauble for now. And pass the turn. Scalding Tarn from the opponent. Cracks Tarn. Into an Underground Sea. Into a Null Rod. Okay. We'll put Street Wraith back into the deck. We draw a Lotus Petal. Okay, well that's not what we wanted to see. So we need to find our Boomerang Basics or a way to do something with it here. Well, we will Thoughtseize. See what's going on over there. Yeah, these tempo decks are really, really rough for these Doomsday Storm hybrid decks because we rely so much on artifacts to do what we're trying to do here. Oh, this whole hand is absolutely terrible for us. Well, I guess we're going to have the Force of Negation because it's the only thing that hard counters what we need to hit. Because we need blue mana. There's Wasteland. That's going to take us off of our 1 mana source. And then they can... They're just going to slam the Bowmasters now. Yeah, I think this one, unfortunately, is over. Because now we need 2 mana sources, one of which has to be blue. Well, there's our Boomerang Basics. So we need to hit 2 mana sources, and then we can do something? And Baleful Strix from the opponent, okay. I mean, that is a mana source. We need a blue mana source, and then we can kind of do our thing here. Never mind, no we're not. because they're going to take the Boomerang Basics. Yep, there goes the Boomerang Basics. Yeah, this one is basically over. We need at least another land, one of which is blue, and for our opponent to not have anything while we set this up. That's a Burning Wish, and we're getting to the point where we can't even wheel without dying now. Another Bowmaster's on top of it. Yeah, with the second Bowmasters, like, a wheel now kills us even if we manage to bounce the Null Rod, so this one's 100% over. I'm just going to see what we're drawing here. It wasn't even anything relevant. Good game, opponent. On to the final round. Let's see if we can get a positive record here. So, on to the next one. Alright, playing for the positive record. Final round, won the die roll. This hand doesn't do anything. We gotta ship it. This hand does. We will go ahead and keep this. Bin the Thassa's Oracle. Opponent kept on 7. We will see if they appear to be F6'd or not. I honestly cannot tell. Since we're going to be trying to wheel anyways, let's go ahead and Street Wraith. Well, fuck it. We go. We ball. That's what we came here to do. Grab a Echo and try to spin it. Successfully spin. Don't particularly have anything worth a damn, so we will play out the Lion's Eye Diamond, pass the turn, see what our opponent's doing. This is one of those situations where having all 4 Echoes in the deck instead of one in the sideboard is a little awkward. Alright, we got a Forest from the opponent. We could always set up for a Doomsday line here, but we gotta wait a turn. We will play Raucous Theater. A Badlands is not particularly what we're looking for here. And we will play out Conjurer's Bauble, so that in theory we can Doomsday and go for the win next turn. Alright, mono green for the opponent at the moment. Elvish Reclaimer. So there is a possibility that they have Endurance, but if we go for a Spoils of the Vault line, we should be able to win here. So basically, what the Spoils of the Vault is in our hand, though. I mean, it's going to go to exile. So what we need to do is Burning Wish, win this on the stack, crack for... So we can Burning Wish, crack 3 black, go get Doomsday, play Doomsday, stack a black source on top, draw the black source, Spoils of the Vault, cast for blue? I think that's what we need to do here. So, hold priority, make red mana, cast Burning Wish, crack this for triple black, use Burning Wish's ability, grab a Doomsday, cast Doomsday, or we just stack this with a bunch of cyclers and go like that, and if they have endurance, we just deal with it. So Thassa's Oracle, cycler, and then I guess it doesn't super matter because we're just going to try to go for an incomplete pile and hope for the best. I guess grab a Conjurer's Bauble to cycle something back into our deck, because we don't quite have enough mana to do everything that we want to. So, yeah, I guess we're going to go ahead and do this and hope they don't have interaction. So we want Bauble, Thoracle, Edge of Autumn, Street Wraith. Practice for triple blue, do this, don't shuffle anything into our deck. Cycle a Street Wraith, cycle an Edge of Autumn, sacking the Badlands, and play a Thassa's Oracle. Hope they don't have Endurance main deck and in their hand. And opponent scoops it up. Okay, taking down game 1. Looks like this is probably lands or Turbo Depths. So with that said, let's bring in Bone Shards, bring in Boomerang Basics. We're actually going to bring in 1 Bone Shards, 1 Boomerang Basics, both of the Surgicals, because they do typically have Life from the Loam shenanigans going on. I actually want to keep the defense grids in up against a green deck like this, because they could have Endurance to screw up our Oracle piles. And then this leaves a Bone Shards and a Boomerang Basics to be able to wish for. I think we're going to take out 1 Echo, bring in a Thoughtseize, take out 1 Riddler, bring in another Thoughtseize. So we have 1 Thoughtseize on the board. Like, we have 1 of each of our hate pieces on the board and an Echo on the board to be able to wish for. And think we're going to take out Winter Night Stories. I'm sorry, Art. It just seems like the weakest card in the deck. And then I think we're going to take out a Chromatic Star and 1 Conjurer's Bauble and 1 Mox Opal. And try that, and we'll just for game 3 if we get there. I mean, this is a turn 1 Doomsday, hope for the best, so I think we're going to keep it. I'm a little worried about a Collector Oof. It does shut down our line, but we could build our pile in such a way that we can get lands in it and just go for a slower pile. Let Yavimaya from the opponent into a Elvish Reclaimer. Okay. We hit a Chrome Mox, so let's play Polluted Delta, play Lotus Petal, play Mox Opal, play Chrome Mox. Let's put a Burning Wish under this. Okay, they're going to kill both of those. That's actually mostly okay. What did they chuck to that? They chucked a Veil of Summer. So let's go ahead and grab a Underground Sea. Dark Ritual out this Doomsday. We are going to grab Thassa's Oracle, Street Wraith, Cavern of Souls, and I don't think I actually want to put anything else in the pile. I think I'm actually going to put an Underground Sea in here just to be safe. So how do we want to do this pile? We can... So I think we're going to put the Thassa's Oracle second to the bottom. We'll put Thassa's Oracle second to the bottom. Cavern, Underground Sea. Oh crap, can I undo that? Yes, I can. Okay, cool. I can't undo these piles. I actually did that wrong. I want Cavern, Underground Sea, Thassa's Oracle, Street Wraith, and then pass the turn. And then we are hoping they do not have a... whatchamacallit. Ooh, they're a Cloud Post deck. Okay. So if they're going to be relatively slow, I think we just might take this a little slow and pass the turn. Since we have lands in the bottom of the deck, they're going to go find something here. I'm going to guess this is going to be a Cloud Post. They could also be trying to go for the mana denial strat here and just like wasteland our land, which I'm actually super okay with. Alright, no, they're just going for more mana. That's fine. Into a forest. Passing the turn. Alright. We're still going to play it kind of safe here, I think. Just pass the turn, because next turn, if they don't destroy our land, we can go for it on an empty library. Into another Cloud Post. So they're going to have a bunch of mana, but even if they Ugin, like, everything is colorless, so I don't care. Into a Yavimaya. Okay. Still holding up their mana. Alright. The question becomes is, do we just say fuck it and go for it now, or do we keep waiting? Do we think they have an Endurance is the question. They could have a Thought-Knot Seer. I think we're just going to go for it. If they have Endurance, they have Endurance, and so be it. Do you have an Endurance, opponent? That's what this comes down to. They're going to Kozilek's command it, but that doesn't matter? Unless they can find an Endurance off of their Scry 2, this doesn't actually matter. Which is why I waited until I could get an empty library. And it appears as though the client has frozen. Well, I guess we gotta restart the client real quick. Come on, Moto, you can do it. I swear to God, if you crash out on me now... Okay, I have no idea what happened. I think the whole client just crashed. Yeah, I have no idea what happened there. It asked me to return to game. Apparently the opponent somehow won the game? I guess we're replaying. I honestly have no idea what the hell happened there. So I have a turn 1 Quantum Riddler into a draw 2, but nothing else really going on. I think we're going to ship this one. I'm very confused about what the hell just happened there. Well, that hand does nothing, so we got to ship that. Okay, this is a turn 1 wheel. We'll put back Defense Grid. We will put back Street Wraith. I really do not know what the hell happened there. So we are going to go ahead and... Yeah, I have no clue what happened there. Apparently it said I lost the game, but the client crashed. Well, we are going to go ahead and wheel here. We're going to make some black mana just to maximize what we can do here. Grab an Echo of Eons, put it in the yard. We're going to use 2 blue and a black for this. And we do have a Doomsday. And I actually think we have the win here, assuming our opponent doesn't have anything crazy. We'll crack this. Go grab some more blue mana. Cast Mox Opal. Put this under it. Use the blue for this. This should be a turn 1 Doomsday win here. Make black. Make a Doomsday pile. Ooh, opponent has a Mindbreak Trap. Okay. Well, hopefully their Fresh 7 doesn't do anything. And opponent is going to Force of Vigor 2 of our things, chucking a Primeval Titan. Okay, so they're like Primeval Titan lands. Interesting. We do have another redraw if we need it. Ivugin into nothing. Multiple Force of Vigors. Okay, chucking a Veil of Summer. So we're both basically just in top deck mode. We have a gamble. We're going to pass the turn. I am not going to lie. I'm going to be very mad if I lose this match because MTGO crashed. We hit a Street Wraith. We will pass the turn. And opponent has a Dark Depths. Okay. They have no mana producing lands at the moment. We hit another Street Wraith. I mean, let's just cycle it. We hit a Lotus Petal. I think we're going to pass the turn for now. Opponent still does not have mana producing lands. We hit a Chrome Mox. Well, let's cycle this other Street Wraith. We found another Mox. At least that gets that out of the way. We could gamble a Quantum Riddler. Do we have the mana to do everything here? Kind of-ish. We will go ahead and Quantum Riddler here, just to get a draw out of it. And if we hit something worth doing, we will do it. We hit a Burning Wish. I don't think that actually does anything here, so we're going to go ahead and pass for right now. Let this burn off. It looks like opponent is still missing lands, which is fine. We hit another Chromatic Star. Let's run that out. I don't like giving our opponent time to do stuff, but they're missing lands, so they found an Echoing Deeps, which doesn't have anything to copy. We hit a Polluted Delta. We didn't sideboard because I thought it was kind of weird what the hell was going on. We could try to gamble for an LED here, but that doesn't do anything. Let's play the Polluted Delta. We might crack some of these Chromatic Stars here. Alright, opponent finally has green mana. Playing a Crop Rotation, for I'm assuming for Yavimaya. Green Sun Zenith for what I'm assuming is going to be a Collector Oof. I am going to be extremely upset if this turns into... Okay, Dark Ritual I can kind of get behind. We'll keep that on top. Why did it not let me respond? I'm a little confused by that, but okay. I mean, we can still do what we need to. We will... Alright, I'm just flustered by what the hell just happened here, but we are going to go ahead and Burning Wish. Go grab a Bone Shards. Bone Shards the Collector Oof. Veil of Summer. Okay, what the hell? Okay, I'm going to be so pissed if I lose this because Moto crashed. Yeah, I'm going to lose this because Moto crashed. Okay, so if you stuck around this long, I am sorry I am tilting off at the client crashing, costing me a game that we probably should have won. Man, I don't even know what to say now. Like, I'm sorry, Art. This is Moto's fault. I highly doubt they found an answer to the Thoracle. I asked them if they did, and they didn't respond. We will see what happens. See if there's a way that I can get back into this. But with what they got here, they can go grab a Thespian Stage and then go make their Dark Depths. Well, this is a shot. We can go grab our other Bone Spurs. Or Bone Shards. Oh, are they going to name Bone Shards with this? Oh my god. Alright. I apologize to you viewers. This should have been a 3-2 league. Moto crashed, and for some reason, when it crashed and restarted, it said we lost the game. And I don't know why, because there's supposed to be a 7-minute timer. And they can just go ahead and make Dark Depths now. Like, I'm sorry, viewers. This is 100% a Moto issue. I'm going to try to file a bug report and see if I can get my entry fee back here. But this was, This should have been a win in a positive league, but I'm going to go ahead and try to file a bug report, see if we can get our ticks back. And just know that in all reality, this was a 3-2. This was not a 2-3 that you're seeing here. And again, I apologize. I get a little excited every now and then, but I don't tilt off like this often. But this is 100% a moto fucked up situation. But let me get my shit together and then I'll address all of this in the wrap up. Okay, so we are just going to ignore that last round. So the record's going to stick at 2-2, and I'll do my assessment off of the 4 previous rounds and the testing I did. Overall, I really like the deck, and I think it's a really good starting point. I like being able to do Doomsday or Storm, depending on what the matchup requires, and I do like having access to our sideboard in main 1 to be able to find 8 pieces if we need them. However, as I mentioned, it was a little awkward having all 4 copies of Echo in the main deck. A lot of the time with these styles of decks, it's nice to be able to have access to one of them in the sideboard to be able to access Burning Wish if you absolutely need it, especially with no true tutors in the deck and relying on stuff like Gamble to be able to go find it or to be able to go find our Lion's Eye Diamond to be able to enable it. And we do already have a copy of Doomsday in the sideboard to access with Burning Wish, so we have access to one of our combos in the sideboard, but not the other one. So I would put one of the Echoes into the sideboard just so you can access it via Burning Wish, and therefore you technically have like 7 copies of it instead of just 4 in the main deck. But that's just kind of a minor critique. One of the big things Art wanted feedback on was Quantum Riddler and Winter Night Stories. And I actually really do like Riddler a lot in this deck. The way that it synergizes with Echo and the way that allows you to power through your Doomsday piles even quicker. The math is a little bit awkward on the Doomsday piles since if you're trying to go off on the same turn you make the Doomsday pile, you've got 5 cards, and Quantum is probably going to be drawing in intervals of 2. But one thing that I could have done, and I noticed it when I was reviewing the footage but didn't do it, is with the Conjurer's Bauble, I could have put one of the cards from my graveyard, the Doomsday, or whatever it was, back into my deck to give me 6 cards to draw through to be able to truly get to an empty deck. But it is something to keep in mind that a lot of the times, if you have Quantum Riddler out and you're going for the Doomsday pile, you're probably not going to have 0 cards in your deck at the end of it, and it is going to rely on the Thoracle staying on the battlefield. Overall, I do like the way that this is constructed. Only other changes I'd really say is while being able to filter mana with Chromatic Star was nice, of the building up later onboard draws, it was definitely the most awkward one, and I liked Conjurer's Bauble a lot more. So maybe I'd go a full playset of the Conjurer's Baubles and take out the Chromatic Stars entirely, or maybe just have one. But overall, I do think the Bauble was much better than the Star as far as saving onboard draws to kickstart your Doomsday pile later. One thing I will say is, and you kind of saw it a bit, is being a hybrid combo deck like this where you are all in on the combo, either Storm or Doomsday, you don't really have a backup plan for when your opponent has hate, other than being able to try to bounce whatever their hate is or discard it via your sideboard cards. And a lot of the hate for both sides of the combo overlap, especially in a deck like this where you're relying so much on artifact mana to be able to do your thing. It might be worth trimming down on some of the redundant sideboard pieces, like trim a Boomerang Basics, trim a Bone Shards, trim a Thoughtseize, and have some sort of maybe creature backup plan that you can board into. I would initially say try like Barrogoyce, but they do not synergize at all with Echo of Eons, resetting the graveyards and that kind of stuff. So I don't know if maybe you want to do something kind of like the Oops All Spells decks do and have like Rotting Registers or something, because a lot of the times you're going to be empty-handed real quickly and the downside isn't really going to apply. But not having a creature backup plan or some kind of backup plan that doesn't rely on the same pieces necessarily was definitely felt in matchups where they were able to bring in like Artifact Hate with Collector Oof or Null Rod or something like that. So maybe just something to consider. One of the things that a lot of Storm decks do is being able to have a creature backup plan like Black Saga Storm with your Saga Construct beatdowns and stuff like that, or traditional Doomsday being able to move into a more creature-centric tempo game plan. So having a backup plan that doesn't necessarily rely on the same engine would be nice when your opponent is overloaded on hate for your main engine, specifically artifact hate with how artifact heavy this deck is. Only other things I could say about this are I do think it's a good starting point. Personally, I would trim Winter Night Stories. We didn't see it in the league, and I did do it in testing where I was able to tap a Quantum Riddler to be able to harmonize Winter Night Stories. But seeing as there's only 3 copies of cards for that entire engine in the deck, the chances of that popping up are almost slim to none. So, as much as I hate to say it, I'd probably cut the Winter Night Stories. I'd keep the Quantum Riddlers. I definitely do like those. Maybe actually just replace the Winter Night Stories with a third Quantum Riddler, something along those lines. But that's really where I would move forward with this as far as my thoughts and feedback on this. But overall, it was a tight build. It was a very good starting point. I definitely think it could use a little bit of tuning, but it is a great direction to be able to take this deck and a really cool evolution of the Doomsday Storm hybrid archetype in general. So overall, I think this was a success. I think it's great proof of concept and a great starting point. I look forward to working on this deck more with Art and Nosman. And just a little heads up, this might be part of a 3-part series here, so keep an eye out for upcoming videos showcasing the evolution of this deck over time. But anyways, that was Eonsday or Legacy. I hope you all had as much fun watching as I did playing. I will catch you all in the next video. And as always, stay salty. Play any of the decks you see on this channel with a Mana Traders rental subscription. With a variety of tiers to fit any budget, Mana Traders lets you play whatever you want in whatever format you want. Use code DasSourKraut at checkout and become a better player today. Thank you for watching the video. I hope you like what you saw. If you did, do me a favor, hit that like and sub button below. They are free ways to support the channel. And drop a comment, let me know what you like. Any kind of feedback you got, your opinions on my gameplay, the decks that I play, any of that kind of stuff. If you really like what you see, go ahead and drop by the Patreon. Become a patron, get to read some of my tournament reports and some stuff going on outside of just Magic in my life that I'm going to start putting over there as kind of my own personal blog. Also, you can do donation deck lists over there, just the price of a league if you have a specific deck you want to see, or you have an idea you want me to brew around, something like that, go ahead and do that. Nothing is required. It's always appreciated, though. Any donations go directly back into the channel, covering stuff such as leagues for donation decks or the rental program that I'm a part of. I am a small-time YouTuber. I'm doing this for fun. I really hope you all like what you saw. I truly appreciate you all stopping by. I will catch you all in the next video, and as always, stay salty.